The one where no one proposes is a pretty solid start to the ninth season of Friends. There is one moment in it that I don't like, but the rest of it is pretty great. This is the first episode of season 9, is directed by Kevin Bright, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode chronologically and share some thoughts. And it picks up where the previous episode left off, with Joey having accidentally proposed to Rachel, and Rachel says yes. And before he gets a chance to talk with her, everybody comes into the room. Jack's practicing his magic, which was good fun. Jack was brilliant in this episode. And everybody needs to talk to everybody else. And then Joey ends up telling Chandler what happened. And it doesn't sound funny when Joey's saying it, but Chandler's responses made it very, very funny. And Chandler said to Joey that he needs to tell Rachel before Rachel tells Ross, which seems like a solid plan. But that's easier said than done. Phoebe finds out Rachel's engaged, but she thinks it's to Ross, and it's just, in the best possible way, it's an absolutely chaotic episode where nobody, apart from Joey, and I guess Chandler now, where nobody has the full picture of what happened. But then even Joey doesn't know because he thinks Ross is going to propose to Rachel, so literally no character has the full story of what's going on, and that makes it so fun. Joey then tries to tell Rachel he didn't propose, but then Rachel tries to nurse Emma. We find out that Ross wasn't going to propose anyway. He was just asking her to start things up, which on the one hand is the sensible thing. I feel like proposing to somebody after you've been apart for so long might not be the best idea, but at the same time, it does feel kind of anticlimactic. I think as viewers, we want Ross to propose to Rachel. And, well, then Jack had found out about Monica and Chandler in the closet, and I have to say, Monica, for somebody who's very into clean things, the fact that she's willing to have sex in a public place, even somewhere like a hospital, which is meant to be pretty clean, seems a little bit out of character. Although maybe her desperate want for a child might override that. Who knows? But Jack finds out that actually they weren't just doing it in the closet for fun. They're trying to have a baby, and he gets really excited, and it's really lovely to see. And then he maybe gets a bit too involved, and Chandler says to him, "Seriously, sir, my brain's all over the wall," which Chandler's expressions were just fabulous. And it's a lot of fun, and then we find out that Rachel doesn't really want to marry Joey, which I think is something we all knew anyway. And then Ross talks with her, and it's a delightful scene where he's trying to convince her that neither he nor Chandler nor Joey proposed to her, and she's trying to convince him that neither he nor Chandler did, but Joey definitely did. And it's a very simple, straightforward scene, but very, very funny. And then Joey comes in, and the truth comes out. And we find out that, well, Joey wasn't going to propose. He explains what happened. Ross isn't going to propose. And it's a little heartbreaking as Rachel realises nobody's going to propose to her, but I think they explain the truth in the best possible way. And then we have a really beautiful scene with Rachel and Ross, and Emma's finally feeding, so Rachel's really happy about this, and this is the scene that I don't like, because it was going in a good direction. They both agree to talk about us, they agree to talk about their relationship, and it's a really beautiful, heartwarming moment. I like the fact that they're not just rushing into it, as I think that would be setting them up to fail. And then Ross notices the ring. And this bit didn't occur to me. I've seen this episode before, but I've never really analysed it like this, so it never really occurred to me that up until that moment, Ross hadn't realised Rachel had said yes. He didn't connect the dots until he saw the ring on her finger. And I hate that moment. It's not that it's not realistic. Rachel was wearing the ring, but I hate the fact that in that moment, Ross seemed to be, maybe understandably, annoyed that Rachel had said yes when they're talking about starting things up, yet she was about to go and marry Joey. And I feel like Ross in that moment, again, understandably, because it was information he didn't want to receive, wasn't really considering the fact that Rachel only said yes because she just had a baby. Obviously, she doesn't want to raise Emma alone. Her hormones are going to be all over the place. I feel like Ross would need to take a step back and realise Rachel probably wouldn't have said yes under any other circumstance. So I don't like that moment. I just think it really ruined what was a really beautiful moment. And I don't think it was funny. I don't think it was funny at all. And I don't think it was dramatic enough to really serve a purpose. So yes, it feels realistic, but I didn't really like it. And then we end the episode with Jack sliding some pamphlets through the closet door, and then he realizes it's not Monica and Chandler, which is a very awkward moment, but not a bad way to end things at all. Needless to say, the one where no one proposes is a solid start to season 9 of Friends, and absolutely crazy that I'm up to season 9 already. And I'm looking forward to rewatching the rest of this season. There are some really solid episodes to come, apart from the whole bit with Ross noticing the ring on Rachel's finger. This is an absolute joy, brilliantly done. The fact that nobody had the full picture just worked so well. And all things considered, the one where no one proposes is a pretty solid episode of Friends.